Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Not Your Professional Walkthroughs channel with me, your host Max, a person who tries to answer the age-old question, should you buy an early access game on Steam? Well, let's talk about it.
Not Your Professional Walkthroughs channel presents.
In order to determine if you should be buying the game, I will need to go over certain pros and cons and the fact that this game is not for everyone. What do I mean by not meant for everyone? Well, if you were dragged by your boyfriend or a family member to the movies to see Jurassic World, this might not be the game for you. If you, however, are fond of micromanagement games and tycoon types of games, and a big plus is if you know about things like BBC's Walking with Dinosaurs, this game will most likely be for you. But to help you determine this, let us go over the list of pros and cons. Number 1. Replay value. I cannot state enough how tycoon games create challenging scenarios for human creativity to solve problems, and therefore with the already rich variations in sandbox to world-challenging scenarios, at the 1.04b version at which I am reviewing this title, you will have your hands full trying to see how far can you get. Number 2. Learning curve. This correlates with the replay value as you will be facing challenges and getting accustomed to the in-game mechanics which are different from other tycoon types of games, where finding solution will become a pleasant experience or challenge, especially when you succeed, or even if you fail, you will try to come up with a better solution to the challenge at hand. Number 3. Number of species of dinosaurs. Currently, there are 32 types, which belong to 6 evolutionary trees of dinosaurs, for which you will be trying to build the perfect enclosure that will attract a lot of customers. Number 4. Research and its purpose. There are actually 2 types of research in the game, from scientific, conducted by your staff, which relates to everything outside of the enclosure, so concession stands to zoo decorations to lighting to better marketing so you can bring in more customers, to the second type, which is obtained based on the happiness of your animals and therefore affects only the inside of the enclosure, where you will be able to obtain things from toys to more trees for specific biomes to certain types of shelters and so on. Number 5. Turning the zoo into your vision. Now, this one is a bit hard to explain, but it's related to the research of the previous point, as there is no right or wrong choice for you. Do you want to build a park with just herbivores? Go crazy with the research and make sure you get all that they need to be happy. Do you want just the carnivores? Well, you can do the same. It's your zoo and your vision and your creativity. Number 6. Day-night cycle and its effects at the park. Now, the zoo is opened during the day and closed during the night. But before your guests are chased away by your veterinarians who hold the tranquilizer guns, they will be able to remain there when it's getting darker, and this will force you to think of how you build and equip your zoo as you will need to place decorations and lightings to create the beautiful evening experience for them, so they are willing to spend more money at your establishment. Number 7. Weeks and seasons. This is also in relations with point 6, as during your gameplay you will come across spring, summer, fall, and winter, and also you will be challenged to try and get as many customers during Wednesday as on, let's say, Sunday. Number 8. System requirements. Indie games are notorious known for not requiring your system to run the beefiest graphics cards, so you should be able to have a pleasant experience with the game even on an older system. Number 9. No crashes. I know, right? I mean, I have at least 10 hours invested in one of my save files, and during that time I came across nothing. No crashes, no major bugs represented. Only thing which might happen is that if you hover your mouse over your food and then over the counter of your guests, it might show you that it's vegetables. But that's like the biggest thing. Other than that, the game runs smoothly, and this is quite the big thing which a lot of players are looking today in their games. Of course, if you try to do lots of dumb stuff, like, I don't know, releasing all the animals at the same time, or mixing 20 dinosaurs in one enclosure, you might run into some crashes, but for us normal people, I did not experience anything which would negatively affect my in-game experience. So these are my pros, but what are the possible cons, you might ask? Number 1. You cannot choose the sex of an animal. Now I know this is not Jurassic Park, where they were running over the park looking under the skirts of the dinosaurs, like one character stated, to determine if they are still all ladies. But this is a big negative in the game, as plenty of animals are social, therefore they require a herd or more animals in an enclosure, or possibly a mate for making baby dinosaurs. And if you are working with limited budget at the start of your zoo, and if, let's say, the 2 starting eggs turn into just boys or just girls, they will not be truly happy, and this will negatively affect your research. So you will need to be super lucky with the RNG, which will determine what type of animals you will have in your enclosure, and especially in some of these scenarios, this might make or break your gameplay. Number 2. Size of enclosures.
Why did you get it so big?
That's what she said.
This is even a surprise for me, as especially in the world challenges, you will be working only with extremely limited space to accommodate the enclosure for your dinosaurs. And if you want to, let's say, have a pair of ankylosaur or triceratops or anyone else in your park, even if you create the perfect biome and you will put 2 animals into small enclosure, this will dramatically affect their happiness and therefore once again affect your research for the enclosures in your zoo, and therefore you will most likely have to forfeit and restart the game trying to build a different type of enclosure or only keep 1 animal per enclosure. Also, since the game provides you with variations of the animal sizes, from small to gigantic, let's say, I should not see an issue that, let's say, 3 velociraptors should not be able to squeeze into an enclosure where, let's say, 3 triceratops would have an issue being squeezed into. Number 3, the effects of the seasons and the days. Now I know I started this in the pros too, but I have never really seen a big change in how many customers come to the park during the winter, and I personally live in a place where during the winter, zoos are closed for public, and the animals are inside of the shelters to remain in safe and stable conditions so they can keep them healthy and happy. And it looks like it's more simply for the aesthetics and lacks any further challenges for you as the zoo manager, like having to build more shelters to keep the dinosaurs happy, or spend more money for marketing to keep the customers coming to your park. Number 4, lack of possibility to build an in-park small train or bus system. Look, we all know that usually there are only pedestrians in a zoo, but in a larger zoo or even in your local zoo, there might be a small electric train that takes families with small kids from the park's entrance to a certain drop-off points along the perimeter of your zoo. This would be a great addition to the game, as it will create additional challenges and additional scientific points can be spent on building this system. So let's say certain customers who arrive to the park don't want to stand alongside the original enclosures with your starting species and want to move to the back where they are dropped off at the bigger animals or something like this. Think about it. It's a fairly interesting idea. Number 5. There are actually no kid visitors amongst your NPCs. The fact that most adults will not go into the zoo without kids is true. I mean, sure, when I was in Australia, for example, I dragged my parents into the zoo, but I wanted to see the marsupials. So we went, and it was amazing, seriously. If you get the chance to get to Sydney, go to see the zoo. But the thing is that with the implementation of kids, we would be able to create a whole new branch of research for the customers, as they can have swings and attraction for kids like shows and such, because it's weird to see grown-ups buying dinosaur balloons at the concession stands at the park. Number 6. Another Zoo Tycoon game which only allows one entrance. Now you must admit that you have seen many other games, or in case you did not, it usually allows you to have only one entrance per every zoo or roller coaster tycoon game you previously played, where this is always a big issue. Sure, here you are able to upgrade the entrance to allow more customers to be processed, and therefore you can earn entrance fee much faster. But if you go to real zoos, they might have more entrances and more parking lots, which allows customers to access the park from more points, so that if you get to the back of the zoo, like I said, you are not chased by the staff with a stun batons to make them hurry to get the hell out of there when the park is being closed for the night. And in order to make this possible for the game, I would suggest a extremely expensive research, which would also cost a lot of money to be built by the zoo, because let's say it would cost 50,000 science points and $100,000 because you would need to build also a parking lot. This would create a great thing, as for example, even the train system, which I touched upon in one of the previous points, can have various drop in and drop off points close to these entrances, so people would be able to go around the park and experience it. Let me know what is your opinion on having more entrances to the park. So these are some of the things I came across during my gameplay. Overall, the reviews are overwhelmingly positive, and I can see why. The game runs smoothly, has pleasant graphics, and if you are looking for something that you might want to turn on for only, let's say, 20 minutes a day due to your busy schedule, this can be it for you, as it has nice graphics which to me look more like are meant for the younger generations, but I cannot judge the book by its cover, as even Pokemon was meant for kids, but when I go out for the Pokemon Go Community Day, I usually participate in it with other people in their late 20s, in their 30s, 40s, heck, even their 60s. And while Fortnite was, for example, meant for older generations, it's more enjoyed by the younger crowd, so you never know. Overall, if you love dinosaurs and building things, this game is definitely for you, and I give it a rare A- score, which is super rare from one of the biggest complainers on the entire platform on YouTube. Seriously, go check out the channel and you will find out, heck, consider even subscribing, as I publish content on a weekly basis, so you will have always something fun to watch. But who knows if the game does good? Potentially later we might see the studio release additional content for like Ice Age or marine reptilians, or heck, even the flying pteranodons. But for that you will need to keep a close eye on the developers behind the title, and I'm going to wish them all the best, and to you as well. I know I have only scratched the surface of the game, but if I would have gone into deeper details, I would probably have to go and start off a, let's say, playthrough on the channel, which currently is gonna be difficult, as I have picked up the title at 1.02a version. Currently it's at 1.04b version, so the changes might be coming in and it will be kind of hard to accommodate to them. But if there will be feedback for me to try and do this, I might give it a shot. So definitely let me know in the comment section and I will try to get back to you. Also, if you did already experience Parkasaurus, please let me know what is your overall feedback in the comment section. I would be more than happy to read about it and maybe see some things which I did not truly cover in this should you buy or should you not buy. And well, my opinion based on the pros and cons is yes, you should try and buy this. Overall, Steam has the return policy still in effect, so even if you are unhappy, you might get your money back, and if you determine that the game is truly not for you, there might be a better option. But for the money, you are getting a great value here, And usually in early games on Steam that does not happen. So definitely consider checking this title out. And I will definitely consider checking out the comment section for your feedback. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna wish you a pleasant rest of the day, and hopefully I will see you in the comments or at the next one. Bye bye.